Vatican City stands as a profound paradox in our modern world. It is the smallest independent state on Earth, covering just 110 acres within Rome. Despite its size, its influence resonates globally, commanding the faith of over 1 billion Roman Catholics. The Vatican's power is not built on armies or economic might, but on centuries of history and spiritual leadership. It has its own flag, anthem, and head of state, the Pope. The Swiss Guard, the world's smallest army, protects the pontiff. The Vatican operates its own bank, newspaper, and radio station. It maintains diplomatic relations with most of the world's countries. This intricate machinery supports its mission on the international stage. The Vatican's journey from a burial site to a sovereign entity is remarkable. It has weathered storms that have sunk mighty empires. Its unique status allows it to play a crucial role in global affairs. It acts as a moral compass for many and a significant diplomatic player. The Vatican remains a fascinating subject of study. It is a place where the ancient and the modern converge with undeniable impact. The origins of Vatican City are linked to St. Peter, a fisherman from Galilee and one of Jesus Christ's 12 apostles. Tradition holds that Jesus designated Peter as the rock upon which he would build his church. Peter eventually made his way to Rome, where he preached the nascent Christian faith. During Emperor Nero's reign, Peter was martyred, crucified upside down on Vatican Hill. His followers buried him near the site of his crucifixion, and his tomb became a place of veneration. Despite ongoing persecutions, early Christians gathered there to pray. This simple tomb formed the nucleus around which the future Vatican would grow. The belief that the Bishop of Rome was Peter's successor gave the See of Rome increasing importance. For the first few centuries, Christianity remained a minority faith within the Roman Empire. Its followers often faced suspicion and hostility, yet the message of Christianity continued to spread. The steadfast faith of martyrs like Peter inspired many. The early church in Rome, centered around the memory of Peter and Paul, slowly grew in numbers and influence. This set the stage for a dramatic transformation. The seed sown by Peter's sacrifice on Vatican Hill would eventually blossom into a global institution. The Vatican's story is deeply rooted in the legacy of St. Peter. The early 4th century witnessed a monumental shift for Christianity due to Emperor Constantine the Great. Before a crucial battle in 312 AD, Constantine reportedly had a vision of a Christian symbol, the Chi Rho, in the sky. He ordered his soldiers to paint the symbol on their shields, and they won the battle. Constantine attributed his success to the Christian God. In 313 AD, the Edict of Milan granted religious toleration throughout the Roman Empire, ending the persecution of Christians. Constantine's patronage transformed Christianity from a persecuted sect into a favored religion. He commissioned the construction of magnificent basilicas, including one over St. Peter's tomb on Vatican Hill. This original St. Peter's Basilica became the most important pilgrimage site in Western Christendom. The emperor's support elevated the status of the Bishop of Rome. As the emperor resided in Constantinople, the Pope in Rome gained local prestige and authority. Constantine's actions laid the groundwork for Rome to become the center of Western Christianity. The Church, now backed by imperial power, began to organize itself more formally. It adopted structures similar to the Roman administration. This alliance between empire and church would shape European history for centuries. The once despised faith was now on a path to dominance. The Vatican's rise was intertwined with the fortunes of the Roman Empire. Following the collapse of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD, a power vacuum emerged in Italy. The popes, as bishops of Rome, increasingly stepped into civic leadership roles. They organized food supplies, negotiated with invaders, and maintained order. Pope Leo I famously persuaded Attila the Hun not to sack Rome. The spiritual authority of the Pope, as successor to St. Peter, was well established in the West. From the 6th century onwards, their temporal power began to grow. Popes like Gregory the Great were skilled administrators. Gregory organized the vast agricultural estates owned by the Church and used the revenues for charitable works. He also sent missionaries to convert pagan peoples in England and Northern Europe. A pivotal moment was the donation of Papal in 756 AD. Pepin the Short granted the Pope sovereignty over a large band of territory in central Italy. These lands became the nucleus of the Papal States. The Pope was now a territorial ruler and a political monarch. Over the centuries, the Papal States expanded and contracted. The Pope became deeply involved in the political landscape of medieval Europe. The papacy's temporal power brought immense influence, but also led to corruption and conflicts. The rise of papal power was not uncontested. The Vatican faced numerous formidable enemies and endured devastating conflicts. One of the most persistent struggles was with the Holy Roman Emperors. From the 10th century onwards, popes and emperors clashed over ultimate authority in Christendom. The investiture controversy in the 11th and 12th centuries was a prime example. The Protestant Reformation in the 16th century posed an existential threat to papal authority. Figures like Martin Luther challenged the Pope's spiritual supremacy. The Reformation led to a permanent schism in Western Christianity. Napoleon Bonaparte presented another grave challenge. In 1798, French troops occupied Rome and abolished the Papal States. Pope Pius VI was taken prisoner and died in exile. The final major challenge came from Italian nationalism in the 19th century. The Risorgimento saw the Papal States as an obstacle to a united Italy. In 1870, Italian troops captured Rome, ending over 1,000 years of papal temporal rule. This initiated a decades-long standoff known as the Roman Question. The capture of Rome by Italian forces in 1870 was a traumatic event for the papacy. Pope Pius VI and his successors refused to recognize the legitimacy of the Kingdom of Italy. They considered themselves prisoners within the Vatican. This period, lasting nearly 60 years, became known as the Roman Question. Catholics were often caught between their loyalty to the Pope and their allegiance to the new Italian state. The popes forbade Catholics from participating in Italian national elections. By the early 20th century, both the Italian government and the papacy saw the need for a resolution. Benito Mussolini saw an opportunity to gain prestige by settling the dispute. Secret negotiations began between representatives of the Holy See and the Italian government. The breakthrough came on February 11, 1929, with the signing of the Lateran Treaty. The treaty recognized Vatican City as a fully independent and sovereign state. It provided financial compensation to the Holy See for the loss of the Papal States. It established Catholicism as the state religion of Italy, a provision later revised. The creation of Vatican City State ensured the Pope's complete independence from any secular power. This resolution allowed the papacy to focus more intensely on its spiritual mission. The Vatican's sovereignty was a significant milestone in its modern history. Certain popes stand out for their profound impact on the Church and the world. Pope Leo I, also known as Leo the Great, significantly enhanced the prestige of the Roman See. He asserted the doctrine of Petrine supremacy and met Attila the Hun in 452. Pope Gregory the Great was another transformative figure. He ascended to the papacy during a period of plague, famine, and invasions. Gregory organized Rome's defenses and food supplies. He reformed church liturgy and music with Gregorian chant named in his honor. He sent Augustine of Canterbury to convert the Anglo-Saxons in England. In the modern era, Pope Leo XIII guided the Church through industrialization and rising secularism. His encyclical addressed the condition of the working classes. He advocated for fair wages and workers' rights. Pope John Paul II left an indelible mark as the first non-Italian pope in centuries. He traveled extensively and played a role in the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe. He promoted interreligious dialogue and engaged with global issues. These popes profoundly shaped the Vatican's modern identity. Vatican City, established as a sovereign state in 1929, is a unique entity in the 21st century. Despite its minuscule size, it operates with all the functions of a much larger nation. The Pope is its absolute monarch, holding supreme legislative, executive, and judicial power. The Vatican has its own postal system, telephone service, and even a railway station. Its security is provided by the Swiss Guard. The economy of Vatican City is unlike any other. Its revenue comes from various sources, including Peter's pence, investments, and donations. The sale of postage stamps, coins, and museum tickets generates income. The Institute for the Works of Religion manages financial assets. The Vatican's finances remain a subject of interest and scrutiny. The Holy See maintains diplomatic relations with over 180 countries. It has permanent observer status at the United Nations. Papal nuncios represent the Pope to local governments and churches. The Vatican has embraced modern communication technologies. Vatican radio broadcasts in dozens of languages, and the Vatican Television Center produces footage of papal events. The Vatican's voice continues to be heard in the contemporary world. The journey of the Vatican from a humble burial ground to the world's smallest sovereign state is unparalleled. It began with the martyrdom of St. Peter, whose tomb became the spiritual heart of a faith that shaped Western civilization. Over 2 millennia, the leadership of the Church in Rome evolved. It transformed from a persecuted minority to an imperial partner, then to a powerful temporal ruler. The loss of the Papal States in 1870 seemed devastating, but paved the way for a new kind of papal influence. The Lateran Treaty of 1929 created Vatican City state, guaranteeing the Pope's independence. The Vatican became a sovereign state dedicated to a global religious community. Its influence is primarily moral and spiritual. The Pope can mobilize public opinion and advocate for causes such as peace and justice. The Holy See's extensive diplomatic network allows it to engage in quiet diplomacy. It often mediates conflicts and contributes to humanitarian initiatives. The Vatican remains a unique and potent force in the 21st century. It is a custodian of immense artistic and cultural heritage. It serves as the spiritual anchor for a significant portion of humanity. The story of the Vatican is a testament to the enduring power of faith and the remarkable capacity of an ancient institution to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing world.